So what do you guys think about, I mean, pledges in election year, it's always a touchy subject, and, you know, candidates say, you know, you just don't want to get hammered down the road, right?
I'm not a fan of political marketing, which is whether it's the Susan B. Anthony pledge, the cut, cap, balance, this is the problem. We're looking at marketing, and what I care about, it's great that Romney and all the others want to sign on to this, but the people that can actually do something about it are the elected officials in Congress. And I'd rather the 535 of them sign on to it and do something about it. As far as a balanced budget amendment, I like the fact that, yeah, if you're going to raise taxes, we need a supermajority. There are a lot of good things in there, but we can do those things already. The thing is, both sides are unwilling and have been unwilling for 20-plus years to really tackle this issue. It didn't happen overnight. It has been a progressive degradation economically, and they're still playing political calculus with it.
Ellis, I mean, what do you think? Here you're talking about, you know, where it's political marketing. Should our lawmakers be signing the stuff in Washington? You know, legislation, getting stuff done, compromise.
You know, Molly, it pains me to start off our hour agreeing with David Webb, but he's absolutely right about that. Because, listen, we elect people to these important jobs to go and represent us. We would expect that they would be able to reflect on the widest possible range of options when we have issues, and that they are intelligent enough and strong enough to make actual decisions in real time. This idea that at the beginning of the year I'm going to sign something that's going to limit me in dramatic ways of the things I can do. For instance, right now, we're in the middle of a hugely important debate about raising the debt ceiling, right? And people have a variety of views. I know David and I don't agree on exactly what should happen with the debt ceiling. But it seems to me that any effective leader ought to be able to say, well, you know, how much cutting do I want to do? Is there any opportunities for us to get other revenue that would help us with this? And why on earth beforehand would you want to go in and tie 1.5 hands behind your back? Right. I just think it's lazy pandering.
Do voters think about it at all? Think about a pledge? Maybe
I think it matters. I think it matters to the committed base on either side when some pledge sounds like what they want, and then it goes away when their real life kicks in about 5 seconds later. That's the reality, is that both parties push the litmus test agenda, and that's great. The problem is, and again, Ellis and I find agreement once in a while.
Getting off on a good start today.
That the real people that need to do the work are not taking these things. You know, you bring up revenues, and we may disagree on revenues, taxes, whatever you want to call it, and the approaches there. But we can do things like increase in revenue by allowing companies to make more and therefore pay more in taxes. We can remove subsidies by removing some of the onerous taxation in corporate taxes. That brings in revenue to the government. The fact is, those are the things they should be looking at. Let's remove roadblocks to capitalists, to wealth growth, to growth in capital for Exxon, who just found one of the largest oil finds in the Gulf. Let's give them the permit, not just the lease. Let's do these things. Then the government takes in revenue. Because the big discussion right now on the debt ceiling is, what do? Well, first we take in $250 billion a month. We can pay the debt service. The issue after that becomes government agencies and those. So let's talk about doing things like 770,000 employees at DOD. Let's cut the 43 committees needed to review an engine. Let's look at Department of Education. Let's look at Department of Commerce. Let's look at all these other areas where we can immediately cut federal workforce. And yes, that's the reality we face if we're going to talk about doing real things. And our lawmakers can do that. What we have coming from the left, oh, no, it's the military. They're not going to get paid. Guess what? That can be taken care of by a simple stroke of the pen.
Yeah, big battle going on down there as Congress continues to stick it out.
That's right. I mean, we have a situation now where many Republicans have signed this pledge from this fellow Grover Norquist, you know, his thing, which says we can't ever raise any tax ever. And what gets defined as a tax increase is letting a tax cut expire or closing a loophole on an oil company or a private jet owner.
Taking away a break.
Right. So you've got this situation where these guys have all signed this pledge. It's politically damaging now for them to go back on the pledge. And yet, I think most moderate economists would say part of the solution, part of a balanced solution, has got to be finding some money somewhere.
Here's the thing, Ellis. The word revenue is being misused here. you can't increase. You do need to increase revenue,
Right.
but
Roll
you
back
don't.
some of those cuts on the super wealthy,
no.
for
But
instance.
this is math, not political calculus. The fact is, economic math says you can increase revenue by
Many ways.
by allowing companies to pay more into the system based on increased revenue to the company.
Great.
So. I'm with you on removing
Great.
oil subsidies. I want ethanol subsidies gone.
Awesome.
I don't want to subsidize more pigs than people in Iowa. We can do all
what
that.
that means,
But
but-
we
I know some piggish people in Iowa,
the
too,
farmers.
so that gets a little
Yeah, he's talking
But
complicated.
about
my
farm
point
subsidies.
with this, let's use the oil companies are always demonized by the Obama administration. We can take away those minimal subsidies if we give them the permits to develop. Therefore, they're making more revenue because they exist when they meet their fiduciary responsibility. Whether it's Bakken, Marcellus, Cotton Valley, they have
but
leases
David,
but no permits.
David.
Let them make money.
What about this